Hey everyone! Today I'm excited to share a mind-blowing story that might just change how you think about God and the many religions out there. You see, Elias Mercer went through a near-death experience, and what he found on the other side is astonishing. It turns out God isn't quite who traditional religions portray him to be. Buckle up, because what he learned could overturn your deepest beliefs. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss out on more eye-opening stories like this one. Get ready, it's going to be a thrilling ride. Let me tell you a bit about myself. Back in the winter of 1980, I was a typical college student, full of ambitions and questions about life, just like so many others. In my last year of university, I was neck-deep in philosophy. While diving into profound subjects, I found myself more puzzled than enlightened, constantly pondering things like why we exist, what life and death truly mean, and our place in this vast universe. This quest for understanding left me feeling uneasy, almost as if I was searching for something elusive. I sensed that there was more to learn, something that couldn't be found in textbooks or lectures. It was like trying to find a light switch in a dark room, desperately hoping for clarity. Amidst this inner turmoil, my best friend, Finn Carter, popped up with an idea. Why not take a trip to the Cascade Highlands for some climbing? Finn joked that maybe nature would drop some wisdom on me. At the time, the suggestion felt right. What did I have to lose? Even if nothing monumental happened, at least I'd get a break, breathe fresh air, and perhaps gain a new perspective on life. The surprise was, this trip would end up reshaping my entire existence. The experiences I had among the peaks of the Cascade Highlands pushed me beyond ordinary understanding. I was taken on a journey that questioned everything I believed about reality, God, and the universe as a whole. What I'm about to recount is no small feat. It's a story that's tough to share and even harder to digest. It might sound unbelievable or like something out of a story, but I assure you, this is true. Sometimes I wish I could dismiss it as just a vivid dream, but that wouldn't be fair to what I experienced. This is the tale of how a routine climbing trip transformed into something that challenged my very understanding of life and death. Yes, I passed away, saw things that lie beyond our mortal coil, and somehow made it back to share what I've learned. Let me take you back to where it all started. Finn Carter and I were seasoned hikers, ready to tackle whatever the Cascade Highlands might throw our way. With quality climbing gear, enough supplies to last us a few days, and a meticulously crafted map, we set out, eager and optimistic about the journey ahead. The first days unfolded just as we had imagined. Each step brought its own challenges, but the rewards were equally staggering. As we climbed higher, the air thinned out and the views became more exhilarating. I could hardly believe how stunning the snow-covered peaks looked against the bright blue sky. At night, we settled in under a canopy of stars so vivid that it felt like they were twinkling just for us. Amidst all this beauty, I noticed something shifting inside me. The physical demands of the climb, combined with the enchanting wilderness, wiped away the stress and anxieties that had plagued me back at university. Those nagging philosophical dilemmas that used to keep me up at night felt trivial now, replaced by a profound sense of tranquility and closeness to nature. But nature has its own way of reminding us of our vulnerability. On the fourth day, the weather took a turn for the worse. I remember the initial light snowfall quickly escalating into a fierce blizzard. The wind screamed around us, biting like icy daggers. Visibility plummeted, and soon we were struggling to see just a few feet in front of us. Worry etched across our faces. Finn and I exchanged glances, knowing we had to act fast. The temperature was plummeting, and while our gear was good, it was no match for this unexpected onslaught. We made the decision to head downward, hoping to find shelter as quickly as possible. Every step felt like a battle against the storm. My hands, even encased in gloves, started to feel numb. The cold sank deeper into my bones while my energy dwindled. That moment was a harsh awakening to how vulnerable we really are when faced with the raw power of nature. Everything I thought I understood about life and philosophy suddenly seemed insignificant. In that moment, all I could think about was staying alive, just putting one foot in front of the other and pushing on. The howling wind roared around us, drowning out Finn's urgent directions as we navigated a steep, perilous stretch of the mountain. Visibility almost non-existent. I had to be careful with every single movement. Then, disaster struck. My rope snagged in a narrow crack in the rock. I struggled to loosen it, but my fingers felt numb and unresponsive. Anxiety began to creep in. I knew that stopping could be a path to disaster, yet here I was, immobilized. Looking down only deepened the pit in my stomach. It felt like the abyss below had an irresistible draw. It was a bizarre, intoxicating sensation. For a fleeting second, I contemplated letting go, surrendering to the fall. The biting cold and my overwhelming fatigue dulled my senses, muddying my thoughts. Finn's voice, still shouting instructions and encouragement, began to sound faint, almost dreamlike. And just like that, without any real intent, I released my grip on the rope. The last clear image I recall is the world slipping away as I tumbled into an expansive darkness. It's funny how, in those pivotal moments of falling, time can stretch infinitely. What should have been mere seconds felt like an everlasting descent. As I plummeted, an unexpected tranquility enveloped me. Instead of the anticipated terror, I felt a wave of euphoric freedom. The roar of the wind faded into the background, and the icy chill that had plagued me moments before vanished like a distant memory. I watched the world whirl past me, blurs of rock, swirling snow, and a vast dark sky. Oddly enough, panic didn't surface. Part of me had an inkling that something extraordinary lay ahead, something that transcended just falling. As I got closer to what I believed was the ground, an extraordinary peace wrapped around me, dissolving all thoughts of my life, fears, and dreams. I felt intensely present, more aware than I had ever been. Then, just as I braced for the inevitable impact, something astounding unfolded. Instead of the pain I expected or the hollow void of unconsciousness, I was enveloped by a dazzling light. It felt as if... In a stunning moment, I found myself enveloped in a brilliant light that seemed to pull me beyond the confines of my physical form. Gone were the sensations of falling or even existing in a bodily sense. Instead, I experienced a profound sense of being, pure consciousness adrift in a boundless sea of light and energy. It felt entirely natural, almost like a gentle awakening, and it took me a bit to realize that I had stepped away from my former self. The reality I once knew had faded, and here I was, on the brink of discovering an astonishing new realm. Strangely enough, I wasn't frightened. Rather, a rush of curiosity surged through me. It was almost as if my whole life had been gearing up for this exact moment. As I adjusted to this unfamiliar state, I noticed the light surrounding me had a character of its own, filled with intricate patterns and movements that hinted at its aliveness. There was a pulsating energy within it that I could sense, an awareness that eluded my rational mind. Then, amidst the radiant atmosphere, I sensed I wasn't by myself. There was a profound presence nearby, something vast and elusive that my human intellect struggled to grasp. I couldn't pinpoint it with my eyes, but every part of me felt it. This presence was warm and deeply understanding, wrapping me in a cocoon of acceptance and love that made all my fears and uncertainties feel trivial by comparison. And in that extraordinary realization, a truth dawned on me. I had crossed over. Perhaps what we refer to as death in our limited human terms wasn't truly an end. Instead, it felt like an opening, an invitation to delve into something infinitely more profound, much beyond what I could have ever envisioned. As I floated in this luminous expanse, I began to sense a gentle yet compelling pull towards something beyond my current state. There were no conventional directions. Up or down didn't exist in this realm. Yet, I instinctively knew I was drawn towards something significant. With every passing moment, the light grew brighter, but not in a harsh way. Instead, it enveloped me in warmth and solace. It was a kaleidoscope of colors I had never before encountered, swirling around me in a mesmerizing display of beauty that felt like glimpsing the very fabric of creation itself. Suddenly it struck me, not visually, but as a profound sensation. There was this incredible presence surrounding me, something immense and powerful enough to make my very soul quiver. It felt like the source of all light, the essence of every experience I was having. I couldn't pin it down to a specific form. Instead, it radiated an intelligence and love that surpassed anything I had ever encountered. Right then, it became crystal clear. I was in the company of something divine. This wasn't the conventional depiction of God found in religious texts. No, it was much more remarkable and beyond human comprehension. It felt as if I were in dialogue with the fundamental creative force of the universe itself. There were no spoken words exchanged. It was something far more profound. Thoughts and emotions flowed between us, clearer and deeper than any conversation I had ever experienced. In a heartbeat, I felt my entire life flash before me, not in a critical way, but with an incredible sense of acceptance and understanding. I reviewed every choice I had made, every person I had met. Everything seemed to fit into this grand tapestry I had never noticed before. I realized how my actions intertwined with the lives of others, forming an intricate web of impacts, both positive and negative. What truly amazed me was the sheer lack of judgment. There was only acceptance, a deep understanding, and an unconditional love that left me momentarily speechless. The idea of sin, as I had come to know it, felt like a limited human perspective. What really mattered was growth, learning, and the ongoing evolution of consciousness. Then the entity guided my awareness beyond the confines of my own existence. I witnessed the birth and demise of galaxies in the cosmic flow. Creation wasn't just a one-time event, it was an endless, eternal journey. I observed the emergence of life on countless worlds, each unfolding in its unique manner. Everything I thought I knew was just the tip of the iceberg of a far more intricate reality, filled with dimensions we can't even begin to fathom, and parallel existences that weave together in ways our current scientific understanding hasn't grasped yet. At the heart of it all was love. Not the kind we typically experience in relationships or family, but a foundational force that interconnected everything in existence. This love was what forged atoms together, propelled galaxies into motion, and drove the evolution of consciousness across the cosmos. I was completely overwhelmed. How was it possible for someone like me, a mere human, to grasp such profound truths? Yet, I felt a part of me was soaking up this wisdom, this cosmic knowledge, in ways I could hardly articulate. In that moment, as I floated in this incredible state of awareness, a profound realization washed over me. It was as if an immense entity surrounded me with warmth and reassurance. Despite the enormity of the truths being unveiled, I sensed that I was cherished and had a place in this expansive reality. I think I finally grasped my significance in the grand tapestry of existence, no matter how insignificant I often felt. It suddenly struck me. I was on the brink of an extraordinary journey, one that would once and for all shift how I viewed reality and my role in it. I drifted amidst a pure consciousness, and then the entity began to share with me the unheard-of mysteries of the universe. Picture this: all the wisdom of the cosmos was pouring into me, saturating every part of my essence with age-old knowledge that felt both otherworldly and deeply familiar. What I witnessed was astonishing. The birth of our universe unfolded before me, not as some scientific explosion, but as a brilliant eruption of pure thought. It was as if the universe sprung forth from the dreaming of an infinite mind, each star, every galaxy and planet merely thoughts, woven into a boundless cosmic dream. And here's the kicker, the realization that what we called our universe was only one of many. I beheld a multitude of universes swinging into existence and fading away, each with their distinct laws of nature, forms of life, and tales to tell. It was like watching an endless performance of creation and decay, an everlasting cycle where everything was continuously reborn. I discovered that the notion of God is but a tiny facet of this vast universal consciousness. Religions, those tales spun on earth, felt like mere child's play, simplified stories attempting to capture intricacies so profound that no single human mind could tackle them. The entity illustrated how, under the right conditions, life emerges naturally. I saw otherworldly planets brimming with life forms that would challenge imagination itself. Some were akin to us, carbon-based, while others thrived on silicon or elements completely foreign to our understanding. This led me to the realization that consciousness isn't just something exclusive to living beings. In fact, everything possesses its own form of awareness: rocks, stars, planets, all participating in a cosmic consciousness that, while vastly different from ours, contributes to a living, breathing universe that is always evolving. Time itself blurred into a tapestry where past, present, and future intertwined, existing all at once. Every decision, every possibility flickered in this infinite expanse, illuminating the boundless nature of existence. Every choice we make opens up new possibilities, branching out into different realities. In the middle of this infinite expanse, it struck me. Humanity has a vital role to play. Each one of us resembles a cell within this grand cosmic organism. Our experiences, ranging from struggles and joys to sorrows, are all essential contributors to the evolution of universal consciousness. What blew my mind was seeing how each act of kindness or moment of compassion sends out ripples across the universe, impacting realms beyond our understanding. Conversely, acts of cruelty and feelings of hatred also send out waves that disturb the harmony in ways we can't even fathom. This insight transformed my understanding of responsibility. It dawned on me that with every decision we make, we are sculpting the future of the universe. There are no small actions. Every thought carries weight. This realization was a double-edged sword. On one hand, it was frightening to grasp the enormity of our influence, yet on the other, it felt liberating because it highlighted our potential to foster positive changes on a universal scale. The entity of light clarified that the essence of life is not about striving for some final destination, but about growth, evolution, and expanding our consciousness. Every struggle we endure, every bit of heartache we face, serves as a stepping stone for learning and development. At that moment, I experienced an overwhelming sense of connection to everything around me. I became one with the universe itself, intertwined with every being and every speck of existence. It was a profound wave of belonging and wholeness that I had never encountered before. Then came the pivotal moment. The entity confronted me with an incredibly tough choice. As I soaked in these cosmic truths, feeling more attuned and vibrant than ever, it placed before me two distinct paths. The first option was to stay in this exquisite state of pure consciousness, merging completely with the light, thereby relinquishing my individual identity. While it would mean the end of my personal existence, it would also mark the start of a much grander reality, beyond any conventional notions of self. The other option was to return to my physical form, back to Earth, armed with the profound knowledge and experiences I had gathered. As I stood at the crossroads of my journey, I was faced with a significant choice. There was this really enticing thought of merging completely with the universe, experiencing pure unity and the kind of unconditional love that would wash away all suffering and uncertainty. Who wouldn't want that? But then again, the other option tugged at my heart just as strongly. The potential return to the physical world, to harness this newfound wisdom and become a beacon of hope in a society often shrouded in ignorance and fear, was equally compelling. What amazed me was how the entity guiding me didn't push me one way or the other. It was like I was enveloped in warmth and acceptance, no matter what I decided. This was about me, and I needed to reflect on what I truly wanted. I found myself thinking back on my life, the cherished relationships, the moments shared, and those dreams still waiting to be realized. There had been so many questions swirling in my mind over the years, and each philosophical inquiry had led me to this very moment. Ultimately, even though the allure of merging with the cosmos was strong, a part of me craved to continue my journey as an individual. There were lessons yet to absorb and experiences I yearned to live out. I also felt a pressing responsibility. Having caught a glimpse of those grand cosmic truths, how could I turn my back on them? I knew deep down that I needed to share what I had learned in some form. With a heartbeat that echoed a blend of courage and nervousness, the decision became clear. I would return to the physical realm. Sure, it meant facing all the challenges and limitations that come with it, but that world was also bursting with beauty and opportunities for growth. As soon as I made my choice, I was enveloped in a magnificent wave of love and support from the entity. There wasn't a hint of judgment, just pure acceptance and encouragement. It felt like an essential part of my evolution. Then, the entity began to guide me through what would happen next. I was gently reminded that not every piece of wisdom I had gained could come back with me. The human mind, in its present state, simply can't fully grasp the vastness of the universe's truths. A lot of my experiences would fade or be tucked away deep in my subconscious. But here's the hope. The core of what I'd felt, the unconditional love and the understanding of our interconnectedness, I could carry with me. It felt like being given a precious seed, something that would be nurtured and eventually blossom within my soul. As I neared the end of my ethereal journey, a swirl of emotions enveloped me. I felt a bittersweet heaviness in leaving behind this serene state of pure awareness, yet there was also a rush of eagerness for what lay ahead. With one final look at the boundless light surrounding me, I embarked on my return to the physical realm. The experience of re-entering my body contrasted starkly with my previous journey. It was just as surreal and strong. As I left the comforting presence of the radiant entity, a sensation of compression washed over me. It felt like I was being squeezed back into my limited physical form, having tasted the vastness of existence. Initially, the shift felt gentle. I could still bask in the warmth and wisdom of the entity, which seemed to guide my way back. However, as I approached the earthly realm, a sense of resistance surged. It was as though I was fighting against an increasingly turbulent tide. I vividly recall traversing through various layers of existence. Each level I encountered felt denser and more confining than the last. With each transition, I sensed fragments of the universal knowledge that had graced me begin to fade away, drifting just out of reach. Despite my efforts to grasp these insights, like trying to hold on to water, they eluded me more with each attempt. I found myself engulfed in a wave of despair, realizing I couldn't carry all that wisdom back. As I neared the physical dimension, the familiar sensations of bodily limitations returned. The biting cold, the heaviness of physical form, and the sharp pains surged back, jolting me from my otherworldly experience. The contrast from the tranquility and openness I had just known was so stark that, for a fleeting moment, I questioned whether returning was worthwhile. Finally, I blinked my eyes open to the glaring daylight. My gaze landed on the face of Finn, my friend, hovering above me. His features were etched with distress. He had red, swollen eyes and frozen tears that glistened on his cheeks. He seemed to be shouting, but the words were lost on me, muffled by the disorienting din around us. Gradually, my senses began to realign with the tangible world. I became aware of the howling wind whipping about us and the soft snowflakes landing gently on my face. The crisp scent of the cold air filled my lungs, pulling me further back into reality. The air was sharp and invigorating as I tried to gather my thoughts. For a moment, my body felt completely unresponsive. Was it possible that I was paralyzed? Had that fall done permanent damage? Just when panic was about to take hold, I started to feel movement, first in my fingers, then in my arms and legs. Finn was there, moving quickly, speaking in an excited rush. He told me how he had stumbled upon me, believing I was gone forever, claiming it was nothing short of a miracle. Yet, I barely caught his words. A whirlwind of thoughts occupied my mind, grappling with the enormity of what had just occurred, trying to ground the profound experience into the reality of my current situation. Looking down at my hands, I flexed my fingers. They seemed strange, almost alien. It was like I was encased in a constricting suit after having just tasted the vast freedom of a formless existence. Amid the discomfort, a sense of purpose surged within me, a feeling that I had returned for a specific reason. While many details of my experience began to fade, the essence lingered. The overwhelming love I felt and the insight into the interconnectedness of life were engraved deeply in my soul. I glanced from Finn to the breathtaking mountains that surrounded us. Everything appeared transformed, vibrant and interconnected in ways I had never appreciated before. I realized that my life had taken a turn, one that would reshape my journey ahead. Now I faced the challenge of incorporating this newfound understanding into everyday life. As Finn helped me up, readying me for the arduous trek back down, I sensed I was at the start of a new adventure. This path was one of rediscovery and translation of the cosmic truths I had encountered, aiming to share them in a way that made sense to the world. I understood that the road ahead would be tough, but I also carried something invaluable, a knowledge that could potentially alter not just my own life, but also the lives of others around me. The weeks that followed my return proved to be the hardest I had ever faced. Readjusting to physical life was a gradual and often painful ordeal, both in body and spirit. Although fortunate enough to escape with no broken bones, I was a mess of bruises, feeling waves of pain. Doctors labeled my survival as a medical miracle, yet the physical suffering, excruciating as it was, paled in comparison to the transformation that lay ahead. Navigating everyday life felt daunting, but it was just a small piece of what I was truly grappling with. The real battle resided within me. My mind and my spirit were in turmoil. After witnessing the vast wonders of the universe and feeling that connection to everything, the physical world suddenly felt so confined and limiting. The things that used to fill my thoughts were now little more than distractions. They felt insignificant and pointless. Connecting with my loved ones became a struggle. They were relieved and joyful about my recovery, but they couldn't begin to grasp the profound transformation I had undergone. Whenever I attempted to explain my experience, I felt my words were feeble, unable to convey the enormity of what I had gone through. Sleep, that turned into a nightmare of its own. As soon as I closed my eyes, I would be bombarded with disjointed images from my experience, flashes of light from the cosmos, sensations of boundless freedom, the resounding warmth of unconditional love. I'd wake up in a panic, drenched in sweat, feeling lost and unsure of my place in the world or even who I was. Time itself became a strange concept. In my altered perception, minutes could stretch into what felt like hours, while entire hours could slip away in the blink of an eye. I would often find myself captivated by mundane objects, like a simple leaf or a drop of rain, marveling at the intricate beauty and immense complexity in things I once overlooked. The activities that used to bring me joy felt hollow now. My passion for philosophy, which was once a source of inspiration, seemed like it merely skimmed the surface of the deep truths I had briefly touched. Seeking a sense of purpose in this new reality was a challenge. I felt an intense urge to share the insights I had gained, yet expressing such vast and profound experiences in a way others could comprehend felt impossible. How could I make cosmic understandings relatable? I threw myself into writing, feverishly jotting down every memory before it slipped away. I filled countless pages with notes and sketches, my desperate tries at making sense of the ineffable. Still, with each word, I felt more and more inadequate. Meanwhile, my relationships started to suffer. My friends and family, afraid of my fixation, began urging me to come back to reality. But the reality they reminisced about was one I could no longer recognize. I had touched something deeper, something that felt more authentic than the physical existence surrounding us. There were days when I fell into a profound sadness, overwhelmed by the gap between my experiences and the inability to adequately articulate them. There were moments when I found myself reflecting on whether my choice to come to this world was the right one. Sometimes, it felt like earthly existence was a bit of a cage, with all its little annoyances and limitations. But then, things began to shift for me. I started to understand that while I might struggle to fully communicate what I experienced, I could still live by the fundamental truths I had learned. The overwhelming love I had encountered, along with the awareness of how everything is interconnected, that was something I could manifest in my everyday life. Suddenly, compassion became a central part of who I was. Each person I crossed paths with transformed in my eyes. They weren't just individuals, but rather unique expressions of a universal consciousness. Their joy, suffering, and triumphs resonated with me more profoundly. It was like I could feel the depth of their experiences. Nature, too, took on new meaning. I began to perceive each tree, animal, and stone as part of a vibrant, aware ecosystem. The beauty surrounding me became astonishing. Over time, I figured out how to weave these insights into my routine. I let go of my formal study of philosophy, too rigid for my new way of thinking, and turned instead to a variety of spiritual practices. Meditation, yoga, and contemplation became staples in my life. I started holding talks and workshops. I wasn't aiming to recount my near-death experience. I wanted to share the insights I'd gained about love, compassion, and our shared existence. To my amazement, it seemed to resonate with people. Something in my message, the way I was living, struck a chord deep within them. As this journey progressed, that sense of isolation began to fade. I learned to move between the tangible world we live in and the spiritual realm I'd glimpsed. I no longer viewed my experience as a weight to carry. Rather, it felt like a gift, an invitation to illuminate my earthly journey with a touch of cosmic insight. Sure, the process was tough, and often brought waves of longing for what lay beyond. Some days, the pull was almost too strong. Yet, I also experienced profound moments of happiness and gratitude, those times when I felt unconditional love radiating through me, positively impacting those around me. In all this, it dawned on me that my adaptation was a continuation of that near-death experience. It became clear that I had the chance to bring a slice of heaven to earth, embodying those cosmic truths in the fabric of daily life. As time rolled on, I found myself walking a delicate line between two worlds. It wasn't just about balancing experiences. It was about understanding and honoring the intricacies of being human. I became a link between what I knew and what remained a mystery, blending the finite with the infinite. Adaptation wasn't something I could master completely. It felt like an ongoing journey, and perhaps that's how it was meant to be. Embracing this constant tension led me to explore a new existence, a fresh perspective on life's complexities and its hidden beauty. In the passing of seasons, what struck me was how that brush with death hadn't been a standalone moment. No, it turned out to be a significant turning point for a transformation that kept evolving. Every facet of my life felt influenced and reshaped by the insights gleaned from a realm beyond life and death. My worldview shifted dramatically. The once clear lines of separation and individuality blurred, revealing a tapestry of connections and unity. Each person I encountered and every challenge I faced became a chance to practice the selfless love I had glimpsed on the other side. Everything about what mattered to me had changed drastically. The ambitions that once drove me, material gains and the desire for recognition, felt hollow now. Instead, I discovered a profound joy in serving others, becoming a conduit for healing and transformation. My relationship with time evolved too. That sense of eternity I had touched liberated me from the dread of death and worries about what lay ahead. Learning to immerse myself in the present became my new norm. I began to relish each moment as a unique facet of a greater consciousness. Spirituality shifted from being a mere intellectual endeavor to a vibrant, lived experience. Practices like meditation, contemplation, and acts of service transformed from mere tasks into authentic gateways, reconnecting me with that vastness I had known. Interestingly, my perspective on science blossomed as well. Far from dismissing it, I found a fascinating overlap between the intuitions I returned with and what quantum physics, neuroscience, and cosmology were uncovering. Science emerged not as an adversary to spirituality, but as a complementary avenue for probing the universe's mysteries. My relationships also experienced a rich transformation. I began to open my heart, loving more freely and unconditionally. The old ways of relating faded away, making space for deeper connections and understanding. In the Cascade Highlands, I found myself on a unique journey of transformation. It was fascinating how much my perspective had shifted. Old resentments and hurts seemed to fade away with the new insights I gained. I discovered a deeper well of forgiveness and compassion within myself, something I hadn't even realized was there. This change also impacted my body. I started caring for myself in a way I'd never done before. Rather than viewing my physical form as a mere cage for my spirit, I embraced it as a sacred vessel for my earthly adventures. I prioritized mindful eating, regular exercise, and connecting with the natural world. These became key parts of my spiritual routine. Perhaps one of the most eye-opening shifts involved my relationship with suffering. Instead of running away from pain, I learned to welcome it as a chance for growth and a way to expand my consciousness. I found that I could sit with suffering, both mine and others, without being overwhelmed by it. Creativity, too, blossomed in surprising ways during this time. I took up painting and began writing poetry and composing music. It felt as if something within me had been unlocked, allowing creative energy to flow uninhibited. A significant realization hit me regarding the essence of life itself. I came to understand that we're not here just to chase after goals. Instead, our purpose is to grow, expand our consciousness, and act as vessels through which the universe gets to experience itself. Of course, this transformation didn't come easy. There were plenty of moments filled with doubt and fear. I often found myself yearning for the comfort of my former beliefs. Some days, the intensity of it all felt overwhelming, and I longed for the simplicity of my old life. But during those tougher times, I held on to the memory of the light and unconditional love I had encountered. It fueled my determination to keep going, to dive deeper into this transformation. Little by little, I realized that my own evolution wasn't just something personal. It created a ripple effect in the lives of those around me. My changes inspired others, radiating energy that touched people in meaningful ways. I understood that my near-death experience wasn't an end, but rather the start of a lifelong journey of transformation, possibly even beyond this life. It became about bringing a little bit of cosmic light into the world and acting as a bridge between what's visible and invisible, known and unknown. And so I embraced each new day as an opportunity to continue evolving and being shaped by this ongoing journey. Let's dive into the beauty of uncertainty and the wonders of living in the moment. Reflecting on that life-changing experience in the Cascade Highlands years ago, it's striking how much my life has shifted since then. The person I used to be before that fall feels like a distant memory, like someone else entirely. Now I see the world through a different lens. Instead of viewing life as a race against others, I recognize it as an intricate web of connections. Every thought, every action ripples out, impacting more than I ever thought possible. Death used to scare me. I would dodge the thought entirely. But these days, I embrace it, not with dread, but with a calm understanding. It's merely a shift, a transformation. This newfound insight has opened doors, allowing me to live with a depth I didn't know was possible. My relationship with time has also evolved. Sure, I still glance at clocks and keep track of the days, but now I have a richer awareness of how fleeting it all is. Each second is a chance to fully engage with life. Spirituality has taken on a new shape for me. It's no longer something I chase outside myself. Instead, it's woven into the fabric of my everyday life. I no longer rely on complex rituals or strict beliefs to find meaning. I uncover the sacred in every breath, every encounter, and each moment of quiet. Meditation has found its way into my life seamlessly, almost as naturally as inhaling and exhaling. It's my way of reconnecting with that vastness I once felt. Love, too, has grown and deepened for me. It's no longer something confined or conditional. This love flows freely, embracing all, even the challenges and the difficult characters I encounter. It has become my guiding light, shaping my choices and actions. Interestingly, I've come to see science and spirituality as two sides of the same coin, rather than opposing forces. Now, when I ponder the intricate equations of quantum physics, it fills me with the same wonder I feel gazing at a breathtaking sunset. I see the mysteries of the human brain and the expanses of the universe as unique expressions of the same creative force, a beautiful dance of intelligence and existence. My connection with the natural world has grown profoundly. I see every mountain, stream, and tree as a part of a larger living network, one that I, too, am part of. This realization has led me to invest a lot of my time and energy into protecting and restoring our environment. Rather than viewing it as some distant cause, I've learned to see it as a way of caring for my own soul. Of course, suffering, whether my own or that of others, still hits me hard. Yet I've shifted how I perceive it. I now recognize that pain, despite its intensity, can spark growth and change. This perspective lets me be there for others when they're hurting, as well as for myself with kindness and understanding. My life's focus has undergone a complete transformation. I walked away from my previous career to share what I've learned. Through speaking engagements, workshops, and writing, as well as the simple way I choose to live, I aim to encourage others to broaden their awareness and connect with the divine within themselves. I'm not saying I've got it all figured out. Actually, the more I delve into life's mysteries, the more I realize just how expansive they are. Yet I carry a steadfast belief that we all play a part in something much larger, that each of us is a vital and unique representation of universal consciousness. While this fresh outlook hasn't wiped away all my challenges, it has changed how I approach them. I still encounter setbacks, err, and experience doubt. But now I view these hurdles not as barriers, but as chances for growth and exploration. As I look ahead, I can't predict exactly what's coming next, but I'm committed to this journey of discovery and making sense of my experiences. I want to keep translating the cosmic insights I've gained into familiar terms for everyday living. My aim is to connect different realms, bringing a slice of that infinite brilliance into our tangible world. Each day, with every breath, I remain grateful, full of love, and in awe of this miracle called existence. The profound experience I had near death wasn't the conclusion of my journey. It was merely the start, a start that continues to evolve, unveiling new layers, heights, and realities with each passing moment. This is how I now view my life, a lens of unity, love, and endless potential. Through this perspective, I experience and embrace every single moment. Hey there, if this heartfelt spiritual story resonated with you, why not give it a thumbs up? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below, and make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Together, let's share this message far and wide. Catch you later.